Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we are tackling something huge, really foundational. We're diving into Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich.
It's a classic for a reason. Based on his, 2 decades studying the most successful people of his time? Carnegie, Ford, Edison,
Yeah,
the Titans.
exactly.
Yeah.
And our sources today lay out his famous 13 principles for achievement. It's quite a structured approach.
It really is. And our mission here isn't just to list them. We want to pull out the practical stuff, Focus on the how. Especially how success, according to Hill, starts way before you take action. It starts inside.
Right, that mental preparation piece. What always strikes me, especially since this was written back in 1937,
Yeah.
is how much it emphasizes mindset. It's not about stock tips or market cycles. It's about belief, desire, persistence, like an early version of the law of attraction almost.
Very much so.
Right.
But it's presented less as wishing and more as psychological engineering, a system. These 13 steps, they're meant to work together. They feed into each other.
So if one part is weak, the whole thing kind of wobbles.
That's the idea. It's interconnected. So let's not just define them. Let's dig into how they actually work, how you do them.
Okay, sounds good. Let's unpack this. Where do we start?
Yeah.
The foundation, right?
Yeah.
The internal stuff, yeah. You can't build anything lasting on shaky ground.
Hmm?
Hill seems adamant that the inner work comes first, before the business plan, before the funding.
Absolutely. Which brings us straight to principle number 1, desire. And he's very clear, this isn't just wanting something.
No.
No. It has to be what he calls a burning desire. Intense. Almost an obsession, really. This is the absolute starting point.
Okay, burning desire. But that still sounds a bit vague. How do you make that concrete? Because Hill isn't about vague wishing, is he?
Not at all. And that's where his famous 6 practical steps come in. This is how you take that intense feeling and turn it into something definite. This is the how-to.
Right, the 6 steps to translate desire into money. Let's walk through those because they demand real action.
Okay. First step, fix in your mind the exact amount of money you desire. Not a lot of money. A specific number.
An exact number. Why so specific?
Because definiteness is key for the subconscious mind, which we'll get to. Vagueness doesn't create focus. So, step 1, exact amount. Step 2, determine exactly what you intend to give in return for that money.
So no free lunch. You have to define your contribution.
Exactly. He'll insist there's no something for nothing. Step 3, establish a definite date by which you intend to possess this money.
Whoa, hold on. A definite date. That feels risky. What if you don't hit it? Doesn't that set you up for failure?
That's a common reaction. But Hill saw the date as a forcing mechanism. It creates urgency. It fights procrastination. It keeps that desire burning hot, It's less a prediction, more a commitment device.
Commitment, not prediction. I get that. So exact amount what you'll give, definite date. What's next?
Step 4, create a definite plan for carrying out your desire. And critically, begin at once, whether you feel ready or not. Don't wait for perfect conditions.
Start now. Action. Okay,
Yeah.
That makes sense. So goal, return, deadline, plan, immediate start.
Yeah.
What are the last 2? They seem crucial for locking it in.
They are. Steps 5 and 6 are pure autosuggestion in action. Step 5, write it all down. A clear, concise statement covering the first 4 points, the amount, the return, the date, the plan.
Write it down physically.
Yes. And then, step 6, the linchpin. Read this written statement aloud twice a day. Once just before bed and once right after waking up.
Read it aloud. Why loud?
It engages more senses, reinforces the message, and crucially, as you read it, you must see, feel, and believe yourself already in possession of the money. You have to generate the emotion of having achieved it.
Okay, that's the whole package then. It moves from this intense want to a very concrete, actionable daily practice. That's the engine started.
Exactly. Desire is the fuel, yes. But what harnesses that fuel? What makes it actually do anything? That's principle number 2, faith.
Faith. Belief in yourself. Belief you can actually achieve this goal you've just defined so precisely.
Yes, but here's the kicker. Hill insists faith isn't like a divine gift you wait for. It's not passive hope. No. Faith, in his system, is a state of mind that you deliberately induce. You manufacture it. You build it consciously.
How? How do you just decide to have faith if you're full of doubt?
Through the process we just described. Those 6 steps, especially reading the statement aloud with feeling, that is the faith-building exercise. It connects directly to emotion. You're not just intellectually agreeing it's possible. You're training your mind to feel it's possible, injecting enthusiasm, confidence.
So you're essentially conditioning yourself for belief. Replacing the negative self-talk with positive, focused expectation.
Precisely. Which leads perfectly into principle 3, autosuggestion. This is the how. It's the control lever for influencing your subconscious mind.
Okay, so autosuggestion is the tool you use to build the faith.
Exactly. Think of your conscious mind, the reasoning mind, as a gatekeeper. It's often skeptical, right? Full of what-ifs.
Definitely.
Autosuggestion is the way you bypass that skeptical gatekeeper and plant your definite goal directly into the subconscious mind. The subconscious is what really drives your actions, your habits, your intuition.
And how does autosuggestion actually do that? Just repeating words.
Not just repeating, it's repetition plus emotion. He'll stress this constantly. Your subconscious mind is very receptive, but it responds most strongly to thoughts that are mixed with feeling or emotion.
So just kind of passively wishing for that $1 million won't cut it?
Nope. The subconscious basically ignores lukewarm thoughts. But if you take that definite statement, the amount, the date, the plan, and you read it with the burning emotion of desire, P1, and the unshakable conviction of faith, P2,
Then the subconscious accepts it as instructions.
it accepts it as fact, and then it starts to work, guiding your thoughts, your actions, even attracting opportunities, aligning everything towards making that goal a reality. It's like programming a computer.
It really sounds like taking conscious control of your inner world, like tending a garden. If you don't actively plant the seeds, you want these definite goals, fueled by faith.
Then the weeds of doubt, fear, and negativity will just take over automatically. It requires constant, deliberate effort. So these first 3, desire, faith, autosuggestion, they establish that essential mental state. It's non-negotiable.
A quantified, burning desire, fortified by self-created faith, implemented through repetitive, emotionalized autosuggestion. Okay, foundation laid.
Right. So the internal furnace is lit. The belief system is being built. Now, how do you apply that mental energy to the real world? How do you start forging something useful?
Yeah, here's where it gets really interesting for me. How do we take that intense, visualized desire and actually turn it into something, well, something tangible, something marketable?
That transition starts with principle 4, specialized knowledge.
Specialized knowledge, not just any knowledge.
No. Hill draws a sharp distinction. General education, knowing a little about a lot, that's fine, but it rarely leads to significant wealth or achievement on its own. Success, he argues, demands practical, focused knowledge in a specific field, the field directly related to your main goal, your definite chief aim.
And he was pretty pragmatic about how you get this knowledge right. It wasn't just about going back to school.
Absolutely. He pointed out that the knowledge doesn't even necessarily need to reside in your own head. Think about Andrew Carnegie, his big example.
Carnegie and Steel, yeah.
Carnegie himself apparently knew very little about the technical process of making steel. But what did he know?
He knew how to find, hire, and organize the people who did know, the experts.
Exactly. That's the core of it. Knowledge is only potential power. It becomes actual power when it's organized and directed intelligently towards a definite goal. So you either acquire the specialized knowledge yourself through focused learning, or you acquire access to it through strategic alliances. You rent it, essentially, by surrounding yourself with people who have the knowledge you lack, which, sets the stage for the mastermind principle later on.
Okay, so gather the specific ammo you need. Either learn it or ally with it. But knowledge alone is still just information. Where does the idea come from? The plan.
Now we enter the workshop. Principle 5, imagination. Hill calls this the workshop of the mind. It's where you blend that specialized knowledge with your burning desire to create something new.
The workshop of the mind. I like that. And he talked about 2 kinds of imagination.
Yes, 2 distinct forms. The first is synthetic imagination. This is probably what most of us think of as creativity day to day. It takes existing concepts, ideas, plans, knowledge raw materials, and rearranges them into new combinations.
So like combining existing technologies in a novel way, or adapting a business model from one industry to another.
Exactly. Most invention, most business innovation probably falls under synthetic imagination. It works with the materials at hand.
Okay, that's the practical side. What's the other form? It sounded a bit more out there.
It is. The second form is creative imagination. This is where Hill gets a bit more mystical, maybe. This is the faculty through which new, truly original ideas, insights, hunches, flashes of inspiration are received.
Received from where?
Hill believed it connects the finite mind of man with what he called infinite intelligence. It's the source of genius, breakthrough thinking. But here's the catch. Creative imagination typically only functions well when the conscious mind is vibrating at a very high frequency, meaning it's stimulated by that intense desire, P1, powered by unwavering faith, P2, and informed by specialized knowledge, P4. It doesn't just switch on by accident, it requires the groundwork.
So synthetic imagination uses the known bricks to build something new. Creative imagination potentially gives you access to entirely new bricks, insights you couldn't have logically deduced.
That's a great way to put it. It's the source of the truly novel path forward. It's where the unique plan, the aha moment, is born.
Okay, so you've used your imagination, maybe a mix of both types, to forge an idea, a potential plan. Now what? You can't just leave it floating in the workshop.
Precisely. The idea conceived in the imagination needs structure. It needs to become actionable. That brings us to Principle 6, organized planning.
Right. Taking the blueprint from the imagination and turning it into, well, actual plans, steps, procedures.
Exactly. This moves from the purely mental into tangible strategy. The plan needs to be detailed, practical, and crucially, Hill emphasizes it must be a continuous process. Your first plan will almost certainly need adjustment.
Failure isn't failure, it's feedback on the plan.
That's the mindset. Success rarely comes from the initial plan unchanged. It comes from persistent planning, adapting based on results. And here, in the context of planning, Hill formally introduces the mastermind concept again, but in a very practical way.
How so?
He instructs you, as part of creating your definite plan, to ally yourself immediately with a group of people whose knowledge and support you need to execute that plan, your mastermind group.
So you bring the mastermind in right at the planning stage, not just when it's time to implement.
Yes, and that's key. Why wait? Your initial plan, conceived alone, likely has blind spots. It needs vetting. It needs diverse perspectives. It needs the specialized knowledge of others before you start burning resources.
So the mastermind helps refine the plan itself, makes it stronger from the outset.
Exactly. You meet with them regularly, maintain harmony, get their input, adjust the plan collaboratively. It becomes a living document, a group effort right from the start. It builds accountability, too.
Makes sense. Leverage collective brainpower early. Okay, so we've got the mental foundation, the specialized knowledge, the imaginative plan, and now that plan is organized and potentially vetted by a mastermind group. We're ready to actually do something, right?
Exactly. We've moved from internal prep to detailed strategy. Now comes the pivot, the crucial transition from planning and visualizing into actual relentless action. This is where the engine really engages.
And the next principle feels almost deceptively simple, but Hill puts huge emphasis on it. Principle 7, decision.
Deceptively simple is right. The core idea. Get in the habit of making decisions quickly and firmly. Be decisive.
And the source material really hammers the speed aspect. Why is making decisions quickly so important? Isn't it better to be cautious, weigh all the options?
Hill's observation, from studying hundreds of successful people, was the opposite. He found successful leaders reached decisions promptly, and then, importantly, they changed those decisions very slowly, if ever.
And unsuccessful people.
The reverse. Slow to decide and quick to change their minds, often swayed by the opinions of others. He saw indecision as a major cause of failure.
Why? What's so destructive about indecision?
Because, according to Hill, indecision is basically fear taking concrete form. Usually it's the fear of criticism. You hesitate, you waffle, because you're worried about making the wrong choice, about what others will say.
That makes so much sense. It paralyzes you. It suggests you don't fully trust your own plan, P6, or your faith, P2.
Doubt creeps in. A decision, even if it turns out to be imperfect, creates momentum. It generates action, which generates feedback, which allows you to adjust the plan. Indecision is just stagnation, paralysis.
Like Edison, right? You mentioned earlier, he wasn't afraid to decide on an experiment, try it immediately, get the data, and then decide again. Fast cycles?
Precisely. Keep the energy moving. Don't let the burning desire cool off while you're stuck in analysis paralysis. Decide, act, learn, adjust. That's the rhythm.
Okay, so make the call. Act decisively. But then what happens? Because action inevitably meets resistance, setbacks, things go wrong. That initial burst of energy fades.
And that is precisely why Principle 8, persistence, is so critical. This is the staying power. This is what transforms that initial decision, that organized plan, fueled by desire, into actual, tangible results over time.
Persistence, grit, sticking with it.
Yes, but again, Hill provides a framework. It's the willingness to endure despite temporary defeat, despite criticism, despite failures, and he connects persistence directly back to the intensity of your initial desire. P1.
How so?
If that desire is truly burning hot, he argued, persistence is almost automatic. You can't quit. If the desire is just lukewarm, a casual wish, then the first sign of difficulty will likely extinguish it.
Okay, so a weak desire leads to weak persistence. Makes sense. But how do you actively cultivate persistence when things get tough? It's easy to say be persistent, but what's the practical advice when you feel like giving up?
The advice is very much about mindset management. First, you have to reframe failure. Hill taught that defeat is never permanent unless you accept it as such. Every setback, every failure should be seen only as a signal that your plan needs fixing, not that your goal is impossible.
Okay, analyze the failure for lessons about the plan. Don't internalize it as personal failure.
Exactly. And he offered 4 specific steps to cultivate persistence. Number 1, have a definite purpose backed by that burning desire. That's your why.
Got it. Fuel.
Number 2, have a definite plan expressed in continuous action. That's your how.
Right. Strategy.
Number 3, critically maintain a mind closed tightly against all negative and discouraging influences. That includes negative self-talk, but also discouraging friends, relatives, or critics. Protect your mindset.
Build a mental firewall.
Okay. And number 4, have a friendly alliance with one or more persons who will encourage you to follow through with both plan and purpose. Your mastermind group again.
So persistence isn't just about solo willpower. It loops right back to desire, planning, faith, closing your mind to negativity, and the mastermind for support.
It's completely interconnected. Persistence is the glue. It's the sustained pressure needed to overcome friction. Without it, even the best plans and strongest desires fizzle out. It proves that the only real failure is quitting.
Okay. Decide quickly, persist relentlessly, using your support system and protecting your mindset. That's a powerful engine for execution.
So the engine is running. Desire, planning, decision, persistence, they're driving things forward. Now, Hill introduces elements that act like force multipliers, ways to leverage external power and tap into deeper internal resources.
Refining the system, amplifying the result.
Exactly. And we've touched on it already, but Principle 9 gives it full focus, the mastermind. This is the primary external leverage point. It's about forming strategic alliances.
We saw it in planning, P6, for vetting ideas, and in persistence, P8, for support. What's the core focus here?
The core idea is synergy. Hill believed quite strongly that when 2 or more minds coordinate in a spirit of perfect harmony and work towards a definite purpose, they generate a power greater than the mere sum of their individual parts. It's like 1 + 1 = 3, or even 10.
Multiplication of effort and intelligence.
Yes. And he highlighted 2 main benefits. The first is the obvious one, the economic benefit. Access to the specialized knowledge, P4, experience, connections, maybe even capital of your mastermind partners.
Okay, pooling resources. Makes sense. What's the second benefit? You mentioned it felt less obvious.
The second benefit is what Hill called the psychic or spiritual benefit. He genuinely believed that when minds truly blend in harmony, they create a sort of third mind, an invisible, intangible force, like a shared consciousness.
A third mind, what does that do?
Yeah. He claimed this third mind could tap into higher sources of inspiration. It directly stimulates the creative imagination, Key 5, in all members. It enhances intuition, the sixth sense, P12. It also creates a shared pool of positive mental energy that reinforces faith, P2, and persistence, P8, for everyone involved.
So it's not just a board meeting. It's meant to be a genuine mental and maybe even energetic fusion.
That's absolutely how he described it. Finding the right people and cultivating perfect harmony was essential for this psychic benefit to manifest. It's an extension of your own mental capacity, constantly feeding positive reinforcement and accountability back into your system.
Wow, okay, that's a powerful concept for collaboration. Now, after leveraging external power with the mastermind, Hill seems to turn back inward, but even deeper this time. Principle 10, the subconscious mind.
Yes. We talked about autosuggestion, P3, as the way into the subconscious. Now, Hill focuses on the nature of the subconscious itself. He saw it as this vast storehouse, the silent partner in your mental factory.
The inner driver.
Exactly. Its core function in this context is to automatically translate your dominant, most emotionalized thoughts into their physical equivalent. It doesn't reason. It just acts on the instructions it receives. It influences your habits, your hunches, your decisions, your posture, your tone of voice, often completely beneath conscious awareness.
Hang on. If it automatically acts on dominant emotionalized thoughts, does that mean it acts on fear and doubt just as readily as it acts on faith and desire?
Precisely. That's the critical warning Hill gives. The subconscious is impartial. It doesn't care if the seeds you plant are constructive or destructive. It will work to materialize whatever thought impulse mixed with strong emotion you feed it most consistently.
So if you're constantly worrying about poverty, consumed by the fear of poverty, your subconscious will start guiding your actions and perceptions towards, well, poverty.
That's the danger. It reinforces the absolute necessity of consciously, deliberately using autosuggestion, P3, to feed it your definite goals mixed with faith and desire. You have to actively counteract the negative programming that can happen by default from society, from past experiences, from your own fears. You must choose the input.
So autosuggestion is the input command. The subconscious mind is the powerful, non-judgmental processor.
Got it.
Okay, this leads us to probably the most conceptual principle. Number 11, the brain, described as a broadcasting and receiving station for thought.
Yeah, this is where Hill stretched the metaphors of his time, drawing on radio technology, which was new and exciting then. We need to be careful not to take it too literally, perhaps, but understand the function he was trying to describe.
Okay, so the brain broadcasts thoughts.
He suggested that when your mind, particularly your subconscious, is vibrating intensely with a particular thought, like your definite chief aim, charged with emotion via autosuggestion, your brain acts like a transmitter, sending out that thought energy.
And receiving.
Conversely, he proposed it could also act as a receiver, picking up thought vibrations from other minds, especially those you're in harmony with, like your mastermind group, or even from a universal source he called infinite intelligence.
Okay, thought broadcasting sounds pretty out there. How can we make this practical for someone listening today? Is it just about focus?
I think a practical interpretation is absolutely about focused attention and expectation. When your entire mental energy, conscious and subconscious, is intensely focused on your definite goal, P1, your brain's filtering mechanisms like the reticular activating system become highly attuned to anything related to that goal.
So you start noticing things you would have missed before.
Exactly. You receive relevant information, an article, a conversation, an opportunity that was always there, but you weren't tuned in to perceive it. You also project an energy of purpose and confidence that attracts people and resources that resonate with that energy. It's less literal radio waves, perhaps, more about how focused intent shapes perception and influences interaction.
So the broadcasting is the clear signal of intent and confidence you project, which influences how others perceive and interact with you. And the receiving is your heightened awareness and ability to recognize relevant opportunities because your focus is so sharp.
That's a very grounded way to look at it, yes. Your brain is always broadcasting something based on your dominant thoughts. Discipline ensures it's broadcasting clarity, faith, and purpose, making you magnetic to the right people and opportunities.
Okay, that makes the concept much more actionable. And this leads to the pinnacle, right? The culmination of mastering all these internal systems. Principle 12. The sixth sense.
The sixth sense, or intuition, Hill presents this as the apex achievement, something developed only through mastery and application of all the preceding 11 principles. It's not a starting point, it's a result.
So it's not just a gut feeling anyone can have.
He described it as much more refined than that. It's a direct line, potentially, to infinite intelligence. It provides warnings, insights, perfect plans, often received as sudden hunches or inspirations that bypass the slower process of logical reasoning. It's that sense of just knowing the right thing to do, the right path to take, without knowing how you know.
And this develops. How? Just by practicing the other principles.
Through sustained practice, yes. By consistently programming the subconscious, P10, with faith, P2, via autosuggestion, P3, maintaining harmonious mastermind, P9 alliances, acting decisively, P7, and persistently, P8, and keeping the brain, T11, tuned to your purpose, you gradually develop this refined intuitive faculty. It's the payoff for achieving mental discipline and alignment.
Wow. So it's a whole integrated system. Desire fuels faith. Faith programs the subconscious via autosuggestion. The subconscious directs the brain's broadcast and receiving. And mastery of all this unlocks the sixth sense for intuitive guidance. That's comprehensive.
It is comprehensive. 12 principles building a powerful engine for achievement. But Hill recognized that this entire intricate machine could be completely derailed by one single pervasive force.
Which brings us to the final principle, number 13. The capstone, in a way. Overcoming fear.
Exactly. He presents fear as the absolute greatest obstacle to success. Why? Because it directly attacks the foundations. Fear paralyzes decision, P7. It destroys persistence, P8. And it completely annihilates faith, P2. It's the anti-success frequency.
And he argued fear is just a state of mind.
Yes, a negative state of mind produced largely by negative thoughts and indecision. And because it's a state of mind, he insisted it can be controlled and replaced by the opposite state of mind, faith, courage, belief. You have to consciously choose which frequency dominates your thinking.
And he got really specific about the types of fear, didn't he? It wasn't just generic anxiety. He listed 6 basic fears he saw consistently holding people back.
He did. Recognizing them is the first step, he said. Can we list them?
Let's do it. Number 1, the fear of poverty. This directly attacks desire and faith in abundance.
Number 2, the fear of criticism. This kills decision, planning, action because you worry what others will think or say.
That one feels huge today, with social media and constant judgment.
Absolutely. It stops people from even starting.
Oh, my God.
Number 3, the fear of ill health. Worrying about sickness can drain energy and focus.
Number 4, the fear of loss of love of someone. This can lead to compromises and lack of decisiveness.
Number 5, the fear of old age. Worrying about decline and becoming dependent.
And number 6, the fear of death, the ultimate unknown.
Those 6, he believed, were the root of most human worry and failure. And his solution.
It loops back, doesn't it? First, recognize fear is just a mental habit, often fueled by negative autosuggestion. Worrying is basically programming your subconscious with fearful thoughts.
Exactly. And second, actively fight it. Starve the fears by consciously cultivating the opposites. Faith, P2, courage, related to decision, P7, and persistence, P8. You have to deliberately substitute positive emotionalized thoughts for the fearful ones. Sometimes, he even suggested, this requires breaking ties with negative people who feed your fears.
Wow. So this final principle is like the ongoing maintenance check. You have to constantly guard your mind against these fears. Otherwise, all the work on the other 12 principles can just crumble.
It's the quality control, yes. Okay, so we've covered all 13. Let's try to boil this down for you, the listener. What are the absolute key takeaways from this deep dive into Hill's framework?
First, for me, it's the undeniable power of your thoughts. Hill makes a compelling case that thoughts, especially when charged with emotion, aren't just passive things. They are active forces that literally shape your inner state and consequently your outer reality. You have to manage your thinking deliberately.
Absolutely. Second takeaway. Success isn't accidental. It's systematic. It demands that crystal clear, quantified goal, desire. It needs that manufactured, unwavering belief, faith. And it requires a detailed, flexible, actionable plan, organized planning, that you execute decisively and persistently. It's a self-directed project.
Third, wealth creation, as Hill defines it, is holistic. It's not just about money-making tactics. It's fundamentally about achieving internal mastery, discipline, focus, persistence, managing your mental state, building strong alliances. The money is almost presented as a byproduct of getting your inner world in order.
Well said. And finally, the mastermind principle. Collaboration isn't just nice to have, it's presented as an exponential force multiplier. Leveraging the knowledge, energy, and accountability of like-minded allies accelerates everything and provides crucial support against fear and setbacks.
So the whole system really emphasizes internal work, creating external results. It's cyclical too, isn't it? Like desire fuels the plan needs decisive action, action requires persistence builds more faith.
It's a feedback loop. Each principle strengthens the others when applied correctly. The whole structure is designed to build momentum through disciplined, conscious effort applied internally first.
Which really brings us back to that core idea, especially from Principle 11, the brain as a broadcasting station. It raises a really practical question for you listening right now. If your brain is constantly broadcasting based on your dominant thoughts and emotions, and your definite chief aim, your burning desire, represents the specific frequency you want to transmit to attract the right opportunities and people.
Then the question becomes, how deliberately, how consciously are you tuning that mental station every single day? Are you actively broadcasting faith, purpose, and expectation? Or is the signal being jammed by the static of fear, doubt, and indecision?
That gap between the signal you're currently sending and the signal required to manifest your desire, that's the real work, isn't it? That's the challenge Hill laid out nearly a century ago.
And it's just as relevant today. Mastering that internal broadcast, that seems to be the timeless key.